So I heard while you was talking about, I heard you mention about engineering, and I know your educational background to a great extent. But I want to outline some very interesting things. So the background of education that I came from, na, I believe two very interesting things were taught to me. And जिंदगी का मेरा hack जो है, life hack है, I took it from my college days. And it's very interesting, right? Because I believe these two hacks is what is the core of survival for any entrepreneur or any professional turned into an entrepreneur or entrepreneur turned into a professional. One is jugaad and one is network. Ivy Leagues, hallowed institutions, all of those perhaps don't emphasize on this. But when you come from the background that I do, where you have to hustle and survive, जुगाड़ mattered a lot. कि भाई मुझे हर चीज़ करना था, हर तरीके से करना था, but I came from a lower mid background. I did not have the ability of getting that kind of thing, so I did a lot of hustle to get the ability of winning those apps. I also did jugaad to do all things that I wanted to tick in the box, whether be it travel, hitchhike, backpack, jobs, bikes. I managed to do everything by doing jugaad. The second thing that I did was I understood the power of networking very early. I was that guy in college who was a part of every group in every geography, but had no group of his own. So UP वाले group में भी मैं था, बिहार वाले group में भी मैं था, मराठी वाले group में भी मैं था, the Himachal वाले group में भी था. Because Pune at the end of the day was Oxford of the East. It was the most cosmopolitan atmosphere that you could get.
Yeah.
And our Pune that I'm talking about, which is 99, 2000, 2001, was a very different city. But because of that power of being able to blend and network and be there across, I think those two things went ahead and made me realize that life is much beyond grades. Life is much beyond the number that you get on your sheet. Life actually is about understanding what street smart thought process is and applying that into education and real life to go across and take the lever. And I want you to compare two things because they're drastically opposite. In a way, diametrically two different planets. You have RV in Bangalore and you have the erudite and whatever you may call sophisticated, fantastic ISB in Hyderabad. And in between, you have a beautiful journey of your own, which is very few people know that, your own entrepreneurial journey. So I want you to tell me how this phase was and what did engineering bring on to you, which you still carry? Is there something that you think has perhaps been the biggest hook for you from there that you brought into your entrepreneurship? And how was life in ISB? I want to talk about that in a lot of segments because I know a lot of people want to aspire for these institutions.
No, happy to. So engineering was not an option, right? It had to be engineering and it had to be in Bangalore. So
why do you say so? Why not an option?
Beyond engineering?
Why was engineering not an option that you had to do it? Is it that you were trained mentally to say that you come from that background to say engineering is the only option or medical is the only option?
Absolutely.
Was that the thought process?
Absolutely. And that's how we have been trained from childhood.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You have to be
a whole bunch of
either an engineer or a doctor or you're a loser, right? And
did you conveniently forget the lawyer bit or you just pushing the lawyer into the loser?
No, I will tell you. I will tell you what happened in my life. So somewhere, I used to live very close to the National Law School.
Again, right? All hallowed institutions.
It was just behind my house. So I thought these law students were pretty cool and they were doing some good stuff. So I wanted to become like them and I applied for it. And started preparing. I didn't even know what it took to prepare, right? Someone said, oh, they're going to ask for some questions, quantitative, qualitative, logical reasoning. I didn't even know anything, right? So whatever books I used to get second hand, I used to, somehow get it and start preparing. Before the exam, my mom got to know. And she's like, you cannot apply for this. This is not for you. This is not for our family. You cannot become a lawyer. No one will marry you if you become a lawyer. And I was like, why is that? And she's like, no, in our families, good South Indian family girls don't become lawyers.
Oh my God.
So I was like, really? And And I was like, yeah, I don't know any lawyer, so it might be true. And but anyway, I went ahead and gave the exam, and as expected, I didn't clear. I was like, okay, didn't work out. Then the next best option was engineering, and RV also happens to be very close to my house. So it also happens to be one of the best colleges
it's quite
in
a good
Bangalore.
college. Quite a good
So
college.
I said, चलो ठीक है, घर के पीछे है. NLS नहीं मिला तो RV.
RV
And
से.
I had to pass NLS every day to go to RV. I would look at NLS saying, you know.
So now I know where the seed of you being that pseudo lawyer in a deal when we sit together comes from. मतलब
No.
हमेशा से it's been there and you're like, okay, forget it. Why should Vinayak or his team talk? Let me just go across and start becoming the pseudo lawyer.
No,
now I know it comes
no,
from.
not at all.
Ah, interesting.
But
so,
yeah,
so
so
tell me
it's
how,
not like the law was not in my scheme of things. It just
but
didn't work.
was engineering college typical of what they say? Like, I know most ratios of women in an engineering college is generally single digit. At least in our time, it used to be. Now
Yeah.
things have improved.
No, actually.
How was it in RV?
Very different, right? Like, see, there are certain streams where you tend to see more guys, like in mechanical, civil. They tend to have a higher number of guys. But when I was studying, like, I think
What was your
So I
bachelor
did
engineering?
electronics and communication, computer science, electronics, even electrical engineering tend to have higher number of girls, right? At least in the south, that is pretty evident. Even architecture, there would be a lot of girls. So it was not like, you know, we were like they would say, you know, in engineering colleges there were men and she-men and all those kind of jokes that are around. Not in our case at all. So I made some fantastic friends, both girls and guys. And I came from all-girls school and all-girls college to go into engineering. And I remember my mom the first day saying, don't talk to boys, don't make friends with boys. And I was like, really, how's that going to happen? So yeah, but it was very different. So I have never grown up in an environment where I think women are in minority. Even from my family background, all my aunts were working professionals, right? They were all working in banks or they were teachers or whatever. They were the earning members contributing to the families as well. And nowhere have I seen any disparity. Of course, now when I look back, I'll say I don't think they had enough support from their family, right? Like they were expected to do housework in addition to doing outside work.
तो काम करके आओ लेकिन आके रात को खाना भी बनाओ.
खाना रात को भी बनाओ, सुबह भी बनाओ, right? And you have to take care of the kids as well. And so it's your responsibility. Both sides are your responsibility. So, and like some of my cousins are fantastic professionals. Like one went on to work in the defense research side, and she even now I think she's almost 60 and she continues to work in that. So fantastic, but no compromise on the housing side, right? They took care of the kids well, they ensured that the house was fine. So in our heads, that was how life was supposed to be.
Never there.
Yes.
And engineering also had that same thought process.
Yes.
So how was college? Tell us a bit about college. What do you take back from the engineering college days that perhaps has shaped up a bit of you today?
Yeah. So during my engineering is when I discovered theatre.
Okay.
So we started.
I like this. Like, you know, college makes us all discover our creative sides.
Absolutely.
And then we try to, you know, put some water to it, and then career takes over.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you get opportunities where you try and, you know, do the passion projects like what I'm doing here.
I know.
My theatrics is here.
I know.
And I'm glad that I have a fellow drama partner here as well.
Oh, totally.
So how was drama? How was drama club there? How was theatre club there? How did that shape you?
So we started the dramatics club within RV, and we called it Carve, Circle of Acting in RV. And we had some fantastic people part of that club, right? All kindred souls who all wanted to be in theatre but somehow had lost their way into engineering. Mahesh Dattani's plays on a commercial basis as well was very, very widely, recognized as an acting club. I think even today they say that Carve exists. I don't know in what shape or form, but it opened my eyes to possibilities, right? Like, so then I said, I used to be the lead actor. Then I realized that, you know, that's the most boring job, right? Because
unless the script is so powerful, right?
No, that's great. But there's so much more that happens in the background,
Correct.
right? Like the sound, the light,
Correct.
right? Costumes.
Like a lot of people are seeing us here. But they're not seeing our crew who's doing
Absolutely.
everything actually for people to see what we are doing.
Correct. And that was more exciting for me. So somewhere I dabbled around makeup and light and sound and all of that as well. And then, as they say, life happens.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think one of my cousins, who's also my mentor and a well-wisher, he got really worried that I was going down that path. You know how that older brother will always be looking out and wondering what's happening. And he took me to a counselor, a career
and
counselor.
Bangalore has a lot of good theatre society, right?
Absolutely.
Like I come from, again, between Calcutta and Pune, both are culturally very rich on theatre.
Yeah.
I know Bangalore also has a huge hub.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you know this, but Koshi's, it's an old-time haunt for many people, the Bangalore folks. Afternoons, if you go there, you will find in tables a lot of theatre, like really veterans sitting there discussing scripts, talking.
I can imagine.
Theatre,
I have
with
a lot of
coffee, filter coffees.
So like for us in Pune, it used to be FTI, and then when it came to Bombay, because I used to do a lot of drama, right? And I did a lot of theatre across India. And then I used to go and I met people in Mandi House also. And Mandi House in Delhi has a very different feel. Prithvi has a very illustrious feel, which is a very, again, different ball game. But the raw feel of theatre in terms of street theatre, and when we used to do these intra-college or inter-college fests, it was a different ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but the Bangalore theatre scene were very different. Like, you know, you would find people sitting and drinking tea and, you know, discussing scripts. I don't think half those scripts ever saw, you know, any outcome of any.
Yeah, it's shifted. Now from the scripts, it's become the Kormangla side of the business plans.
That's true.
Hai na?
So we used to hang out.
Dramas
a lot
on both
there.
sides.
Yeah, that's there.